Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Note Closer Show. As always, Scott Carson, excited and jacked up to be here with you today. And I just want to give a big shout out to all our listeners, all our watchers across the YouTube and all our iTunes and podcast listening things. And of course, our people in Note Nation across our different AM, FM radio stations across the country. And wanted to say thank you again, as always, for listening, being active here, and really going out and taking action on what our awesome guests and what we have to share here. And it's just amazing to get so many great stories in from people that are doing and just absolutely taking action and kicking butt. Well, and that's why I'm so excited to have our special guest on today, somebody who I met recently here, and we just hit it off. We have the same mindset, and I didn't know she realized this, but I've been actually following her online for a couple years now, actually going back to when I first started the podcast, doing Facebook Lives, when I first started launching this thing. And I've learned so many great tips from her, and we met, which is kind of a funny story. I was flying out of Austin to go to San Diego for New Media Summit, and I see this lady get on the plane with a little bit different colored hair, and she had the most amazing pants on, okay? Literally, you would not, and then the shoes, the heels with some stars on. I was like, who is this gal? I was like, she looks really, really familiar. And I was like, and then find out she's going to the same hotel that I'm going in. I'm like, I think I know this lady from somewhere. Sure enough, she turned out to be a fellow icon of influence at New Media Summit. She is an absolute rock star. And we'll get to the Pantalones story later on there. But you never know how you're going to stand out. This lady was obviously very prepared for the flight out from Austin to San Diego. So who am I talking about here? This lady is she's a digital strategist who specializes in creating authentic Facebook video content and leveraging bots to skyrocket sales. After her video reached 1 million organically, she developed her signature go live and monetize glam method. She's been featured in Inc. magazine and seen speaking at Social Media Marketing World. She just spoke recently this week or last week at Digital Marketer here in Austin. She is known as the prepared performer. And it's my friend, and so excited to have her on here. The one, the only, Miss Mahoney. What is going on, Molly? How you doing?
Holy smokes, I forgot to tell you that I bought a bunch of those sound makers after you did it, and my kids are obsessed with them. I should have told my son when you met him earlier. He did a bunch of videos in the car with this. They love that thing. So I'm just stoked to learn about more sound makers from you.
Come on now. Oh. Anyway, we've got all sorts of fun things here. Everybody enjoys them when I pull those out because it kind of breaks at the monotony of sometimes things, right, Molly? But hey, so if I didn't share, tell them a little bit about yourself for those that are listening out here, why they need to be listening today, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so I think you did it pretty well. I mean, it's all about the pants, really. Just kidding. We're going to get into the pants, which is such a funny story. But really, I mean, what you said is the truth. So I was a professional musical theater performer for a bajillion years and then transitioned all of that. I was helping starving artists to build a career. And instead of doing that, I started helping business owners who were successful to be able to perform. And we have some pretty dope strategies and also some methods that help you to actually show up on the camera in the first place. So it's about the confidence to create juicy content that attracts a flood of leads who want to throw credit cards at your face. And
or in our case, close on deals or provide money to fund deals versus throwing credit cards in your face. You gotta be careful there. It's a visualization out there that people might be scared of. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing is with us, I mean, we've been, marketing is one of the big things that we preach here. We've been preaching it for years. I think we own our niche in the note industry because we have embraced the video aspect of things and doing something that most people aren't doing. Doing that little bit extra doesn't have to be, filming thousands and thousands of videos. It's doing something on a regular basis and going from there. You've got a couple of tips or a couple of things that you like to share with people all the time on kind of getting rocking and rolling, right?
Yeah, totally. I got lots. Where do you want to start?
Why don't we just start? If somebody's thinking about in the new year, and it's like a softball for you.
Okay.
What's a couple things they could do in 2020 to help leverage video with what they've got rocking and rolling, huh?
Yeah, so I think the easiest way to think about it is kind of going off what you said is the consistency piece. So what I love to do is think about that person that you would love to, connect with, the perfect person you would love to connect with, and what would be the best time for you to set up an appointment with them. So think about what the best time to set up an appointment with them, and then go to your calendar, put that appointment in there, and that appointment is actually your Facebook Live.
Yeah.
So when I ask people to pick a time every week to go live on Facebook, all of these gremlins creep up. Like, I don't know if I have the gear. I don't know if I have whatever. But if I'm like, hey, I'm going to bring you a sales call, or I'm going to bring you like the perfect, what is so for everybody here, what's the perfect type of conversation they would want to be having? Just so I kind of know.
So it comes down to two things, probably with either asset managers at banks, and the best time to reach them is between 10 and noon, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, or between 2 and 5 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays as well.
Yeah.
Or talking with real estate investors or potential people that have money that want to get into real estate that don't have money, maybe hours after they get off of work.
Awesome. And so the cool thing is with Facebook Live is they can actually watch the replay at any time. So the most important time of day is when you will actually show up, right? So I don't care if your Facebook Lives are at midnight, if you know that people will end up showing up later. And that's one of the things that we really are specific about is we have this APR method that I can share, which is announce, pretend, repurpose. And so you announce, and which kind of goes into like the APR rate or something.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. Ding, ding, ding. Hang on there. That's a great nugget. APR, a whole different meaning to APR. So let's read. Yeah. What are those three things again? So
it's announce, because as my friend Stephanie Lou says, if they don't know, they won't show. So people are not going to show up for your show if they don't know when it's happening. So you've got to tell people when it's happening, like talk to human beings. We have so many things we do to announce the shows, which we can get into that. And then pretend. So pretend is really about having a Mr. Rogers style conversation. So I was watching that documentary on Mr. Rogers, and somebody asked him, what is it that you think really made the show so successful? And he said that it was that he wasn't speaking like, hey, you guys out in TV land, right? He said, hey, neighbor. And he was looking right into the camera and talking to one specific person. So even if nobody's watching, as like horrible as that can feel, right? We're all looking at those numbers. Know that people will be coming in the replay, and that one singular person that you want to connect with is there. They're just maybe not there yet. Right?
But that's the thing is, and knowing that one person and kind of knowing what they're thinking and feeling, as you mentioned earlier, the ideal client or the ideal person that you would want to have that sales call with or that discussion with, target it for them, being niche focused down to what their issues are, what their timeframes are, what their, what their common characteristics would be, and tailoring your message to that aspect, right?
Yeah, and even like more specific than that is like what you said in the beginning, is like picking that actual human. So we get caught up sometimes in the demographics of things, but if you can actually pick, if it's a real estate agent, and you can pick the exact real estate agent that you love working with, and then imagine a question they've asked you. And this is from the world of performers. So we take what we call the moment before. So before you start your video, you think of that moment before, and you don't start your video like, hey, I'm Molly Mahoney. I have been featured in Inc. magazine. Nobody cares. You start by listening to that question, and you say like, I get it. You're really struggling to drink water because you're working so hard. I'm going to tell you how to drink more water today, whatever it is, right? You're really connecting with them right away, that singular person.
And that goes to that point, getting straight to the meat and potatoes of your video.
Yeah.
So much faster versus I'm such a badass or why you need to listen to me. If they're showing up, they're already ready to listen, right?
Yeah. And if they're not ready to listen, you want to make sure you convince them to listen right away, and you let them know what's going to be coming. And then like the fourth or fifth step in your video is where we would introduce yourself and do more of the housekeeping stuff. So that's the A and the P. And then the R is repurpose. So this is what I want to talk to you about when you come on my show, because I think you have so many awesome ways that you're doing this. But we have this thing, this really awesome system called the Map to Millions, and it includes the whole APR method. But one of the cool, really neat parts about it is that when you do these videos every week, even if you wait a year to repurpose it, don't wait that long, but you could wait a year to repurpose it and turn it into so many other things. So one video can become a podcast, can become an Alexa briefing. It can become a collection of GIFs that people randomly find and share, and it helps your SEO because your face is more of your logo now than your logo oftentimes. It can become YouTube videos, LinkedIn videos, IGTV. There's so many ways that you can repurpose this stuff so that, like a blog post, all of that, so that people can find you and then do whatever they do with credit cards.
Well, that's the thing is it's instead of just throwing out one hook, like going fishing with one hook in the water, it's literally throwing like a dozen hooks out, but they're all connected together. So you get like a cast net throwing it out.
Oh, that's such a great way. Cast net makes much more sense. I was picturing a fisherman or fisherwoman with like 12 fishing reels going at the same time, but you're right. It's just like casting a lighter net.
Yeah, it's just throwing it out there a little bit, but that's because it all. I mean, yeah, you could have different hooks in the water if you use the same thing, but it all turns into a net because it's all kind of connected.
Yeah.
There's different features to each network.
Totally. So that's actually like our whole Map to Millions thing is really about combining messenger bots with videos in the beginning so that you get more people subscribed to a community where they are notified about your videos, and you can direct traffic if your video is pre-scheduled, if it's a pre-scheduled Facebook Live using something like b.live. When you get people to that video, then from there, you can send them to all, like they all can trickle back to the same, it's like this really cool, like circular thing where they go into a Facebook group, they go to a blog post, it's all, and it's like this really awesome web of magic.
Of performance.
Or something.
Do you believe in magic?
When I used to teach little kids, I like musical theater, and my husband came to a show once, and this like fourth grader comes up to him and goes, "Are you Mr. Magical Molly?"
I love that. Performance magic with Molly. I love that. That's the title of the episode here for it. But that's the thing is some people have been like, oh my gosh, Facebook is great. We can understand that. But man, these whole bot things, it seems so confusing.
Yeah.
And it's gotten easier, a lot easier than it used to be, right?
So I'm going to say in some ways it's gotten easier, and in some ways it's actually gotten way more complicated. And here's the thing is that you don't have to do all the complicated stuff. So know that more people are learning about bots, and I find myself getting caught in this trap where I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I could set up this thing that has a tag that takes it to this sequence, that does this action, and it's like all these crazy things. You don't need to do that. Like the Map to Millions is like one post with a bot that will reply to the comments on that post, one video with a bot that will reply to comments on that video, and one message that tells them to show up. You don't need all the fancy connections and integrations and zaps and all that stuff. You can get fancier, but you don't need to.
So I have a bit of an idea. Let's just drum roll please here. Let's just say that somebody has a property or they've got a note in a specific area, and they've got a decent following on their business or their personal page, which works best for people when it comes to bots.
Business for sure. Okay. So we have a client who actually, I've been meaning to tell you this because she is a mortgage broker in Australia. So I've been learning all about this kind of stuff in Australia, which is crazy. And so she launched a series on her business page that's just teaching people for first-time home buyers, teaching them how to, there's like so much information. And I know like at one point we were thinking of buying a home, and I was like even afraid to call because it's like, I don't know what any of these things mean, and I'm going to feel like I'm stupid if I talk to somebody about it. So the business page is the only place that the bots work really automatically like that. But it's important to put out that consistent content on your business page, have the bots follow up, do the automation thing. And on your personal page, you want to be building relationships as a human being. So the two really work well in conjunction together. And there are ways to bring people from your personal page into your messenger bot. If people don't know what a bot is, just in case also, it's a way to build a subscriber base, just like you do on an email list, but in Facebook Messenger. So it's an automated conversation, which is why they call it a bot.
So let's walk through one kind of, somebody got a property and they got some, maybe a short little video they've done, or they've taken some photos of the property. Yeah. And,
okay. I have the easiest.
Let's do the easy 1, 2, 3 kind of thing.
Okay. And this is like so stupidly effective and easy that you're going to think that it won't work, but it works. So, okay. And we did this with a slab of wood. So I'm going to use this as an example because it's similar. So if you have a beautiful photo of this home, okay, beautiful photo of a home, and this is what we did with a beautiful photo of a slab of wood. We posted the picture of this slab of wood, and it said, check out this black acacia slab. Do you want to know where you can get it? where you could get your hands on it. That's like all it said. If you do, let us know below the photo. Everyone who commented below the photo was instantly replied to, and it said, hey, I see that you want to know more about this slab. Reply with the word details and we'll send you details. They replied and we sent them the address to the wood yard and they sold out of slabs.
Wow.
And it was like 800 shares or something crazy. So if it's a beautiful photo and you know that you have people who are interested in a home like that, all you have to do is say, let us know if you want more info by dropping a word below this, you know, don't say comment below this photo, because that's one of the trigger words that Facebook doesn't really like. But and then inside the bot, it follows up and tells them where they can find more information.
Okay. So what do they need to use? Where do they get a bot at, basically? Is this like a website or a plugin or something special?
Excuse me. Yes. So it's a website called ManyChat, ManyChat. And they make it so crazy easy. It's like all drag and drop. The thing that you would use for that comment feature is called a growth tool. So the comment growth tool, there is ding, ding, ding. Yeah, that comment growth tool. There's a bunch of other things you can do. All you really need is that comment growth tool. And then you want to make sure that you're clear that when they opt in, that you're going to be sending them
messages.
Yeah. So the thing is, there's like some compliance stuff that's coming up where you can only actually, we don't want to get too deep into it, but I'll make sure that I'll put some resources together for you so that, you know what I was thinking? Would you appreciate it if I just actually built a little template for you for that comment feature?
Yes.
Oh, that'd be so cool. I don't have one, but I'll build one for you. Yeah, I'll do it.
Great.
Awesome. So, there's some things you want to do in order to make sure that you're compliant, because Facebook has changed the rules. So you can't send just a random message if it's after 24 hours of that person interacting with the bot. So there's some really cool workarounds. And I actually did a video that I'll make sure that I get you explaining a super nifty way to stay compliant and still be able to message people every week.
Wow. So that's kind of a cool thing. So you could actually, with some of the great things that Facebook has for that with marketing, take a picture or a video of the property, or like in our case, we got a note deal in, say, Danville, Illinois.
Yeah.
Hey, we could promote that. Can we promote that post and then people comment on the promotion?
Yes, totally. So that's exactly what we do, is we do an ad, and it's just an engagement ad. It doesn't have to be there's like crazy words you'll hear, like a JSON ad. Forget about it. You don't need to do any of that like fancy crazy stuff. Just promote it as a like, I am probably going to like break some hearts of some ads managers, but you can just like boost it if that's really all you know how to do. It's better if you go through the ads manager, it's more effective, but if all you know how to do is boost something, it's fine.
Wow. So that's pretty cool. I'm learning. The reason I ask is asking for a very close personal friend.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Because I suck at the bot thing, but that was one of the things that confused me when I went to ManyChat. I was like, oh my God, which one do I need? And you just answered that to make it simple.
Yeah.
You know,
so you go to they're called widgets, and the widgets are the different ways that you can bring people to the bot. So you can create a link. You can it's like a forwarding link, basically. You can create like a pop-up on your website. So if you produce content once a week, whether it's a show or a podcast or even a blog post, you can actually, and this is like that, this is the secret on the video that I was talking about, that one of the types of messages you can send is a confirmed event update. And it's kind of gray right now, but I'm erring on the side of a confirmed event is my Facebook Live show that happens every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Yep. So if people have said they want to be notified about that event, then I'm using that category, and I believe we're staying compliant within Facebook's rules. The rules don't actually go into effect until January 15th, so everybody's kind of in this guessing game place, but I think it's going to be fine.
So you actually get set up and pre-schedule an event in Facebook that if they click on that, then it's going to send them the reminder, hey, we're going live, or hey,
no, they have to actually click on the link to say they want, or comment below. So the map to millions is really, they comment below a post saying they want to be notified, and then you can direct traffic to that video ahead of time.
Wow. That's really cool. Because you could set, I mean, that's the thing, seeing is you can actually say, hey, where are you investing, or what other states are you investing in? And it can do if people have other deals. Oh, you're investing in this one, check out this asset, or hey, check out this asset.
Yeah. So asking open-ended questions like that, and if you're in a place where you're like, I don't have a lot of engagement on my business page, so this isn't going to work for me, I have some secrets for you. So you can actually, if you have an email list that you started building, you can send people like, I've give them some sort of a reason to go to the next step. Like I found these listings that are, nobody else knows about, like secret listings, I don't know, right? And then the link that you send them to is actually your post on Facebook. You don't send them straight to the listings. You send them to the post on Facebook that tells them to comment below to get access. You're building your organic reach because you're directing this traffic to that post. Facebook, you're feeding Facebook. So Facebook is stoked that people are commenting on Facebook. So they're going to show it to more people. Then you do an ad with it. The social proof is already there because all these people have commented. So your ad's going to perform better. And then you're building your bot list also.
Mm. And you don't, is this going to cost like $15,000 for people to do this?
It's actually going to cost 20. I'm just kidding. No, 20,000. I'm just kidding. Yeah. So, it varies because Facebook ads, like, who knows? But yeah, I mean, ManyChat there's a free version, which you could do all of this with. There's also a pro version, which is $10 a month, which is like so silly. And you can, with the pro version, you can collect emails, phone numbers, there's text messaging. I know you love some texting, I mean, what? All the things. So the pro version, it's like amazing what you can do. And then we've had some pretty ridiculous results with Facebook ads and bots. Doesn't always work as well as I'd like. But our best result was a $900 ad spend that turned into $90,000 in sales.
Wow.
I was like, what is happening?
All right. So hang on here. You got to, I know the backstory to this a little bit, but you got to share it with everybody because it's so ridiculously such a crazy story, but in such a simplistic manner, right?
Yeah, totally. And it's about listening to human beings, showing up and solving a problem. Mm-hmm. So here's what happened. And as I'm like thinking of all these things, I'm actually just going to put together a big resource for you. So I have a blog post where I detailed every single step of this so that you can actually do it yourself too. So I was at lunch with a friend. She told me she was experiencing a problem in her business. And I was like, oh my gosh, if one more person tells me they have that problem, I swear I'm going to punch them because I can solve it in 2 seconds, maybe longer than 2 seconds, but I can solve it. And she was like, really? And I said, yeah. And she goes, could you do a training on it? And I said, yeah. And she said, how much would you charge? And I was like, I don't know, $97. She said, done. And I was like, okay. So I went home, I put together a landing page for it because she had other people that she knew in the same industry. We literally by that afternoon, and I created a Facebook group, an empty Facebook group, nothing in it. And that's where the training was going to be held. So that's all I had. She shared it with her community. I did a video at an event on a couch with my phone that was like, hey, are you this type of business owner? If you are, this video is for you. Yeah, exactly. Like holding my phone up.
Selfie sticked it all up, right?
Yeah. Just like with my selfie stick arm. It was like so cash. I said, if this is who you are, identified that person right away. This video is for you. If you're not, you can stay here or just like leave because it's not for you. It was very, very specific. And I said, I was talking to a friend who had this problem. You may have this problem also. If you want to learn how to solve it, give me the word connect below this video and I'll send you more information on how you can solve it. I didn't say it's a paid training. I said, I'll just send you more information. Once they commented with connect, then the bot asked them to reply with the word connect. So it's like a double opt-in. Mm-hmm. Then that was connected to a keyword inside the bot, which sent them a message that said, hey, Molly told me that you wanted to learn about this training. It's coming up next month. It's only $97. Here's the link to purchase. Within 2 weeks, I think, we had 200 sales.
Wow.
I was like, wait, what? And at that point, we had 1,200 people who had opted into the bot. And so I was like, now there's 1,000 more people that could still potentially purchase. So I had the idea to raise the price. So I sent out one message. And with this 24-hour rule with Facebook, you are allowed to send a message to people who subscribed after the 24 hours. You just have to pay a little bit for it. It's not very much, but it's a sponsored message now, which is fine. So I sent what now would be a sponsored message that said, hey, just wondering, did you sign up for the training? They could say yes, not yet, or not interested. And that not interested piece is really, really important. So if they clicked yes, it was like, great, head to the Facebook group. Molly's already added bonus trainings in there. Because at that point I was like 200 people, like I'm giving them extra stuff, right? No. We added like Facebook ads, other kinds of stuff. The not yet sent them a message that said, no pressure, but just wanted to let you know the Facebook group is rocking and that price is actually going to go up tomorrow. So this was like new in the world of bots. And when I sent this message, I sat there watching the backside of my account and I could see all of the messages in my Facebook account, like the conversations happening when they click the buttons. We had 40 sales within 30 minutes. Super cool.
Wow.
We ended up bringing in 400 people into the training at between $97 and $197 a piece. And then 5 people up-leveled to a $10,000 program.
Wow.
We spent $900 on that Facebook ad.
Wow. That's a smart thing. I'm thinking on my end over here, because what yours is focused. What was the focus of that? What was the focus of it, the product?
It was a training about messenger bots, about social media, but the company was LuLaRoe. So it was a direct sales company actually. So it was super, and this is like, because I tried to duplicate it like a month later and there's a couple of mistakes that I made when I tried to duplicate it. So one, it was a very specific problem because at the time, LuLaRoe was a clothing company and they weren't allowed to sell on their business page at the time. So they were only allowed to sell in private groups because they were trying not to create competition because they all have different inventory, whatever. But so at the time they weren't allowed to sell on their business page. And so that was like the main pain point specifically was how do we use our business page if we can't make sales there? And so what I was teaching them is you use it as a lead generating thing. Like those of us who are in marketing know that, but people in the direct sales company didn't understand that. And it was a really hot button pain point for them at the time. So you have to make sure that it's like specifically speaking to an actual pain within that niche.
I love it. And you did this, you said you filmed the video to the time the training was how long? 3 weeks, 2 weeks?
Yeah, like maybe a month at most, maybe. Yeah.
That's important because literally people could create 12 months of training videos, 12 months of the different opt-in stuff, have the video set to automatically go out on pre-scheduled or like using Restream to rebroadcast Facebook Live or using Be Live to schedule that. And then have that set up for 12 different FAQs, 12 or maybe 10 issues that they have, the 10 biggest issue training.
Totally. Yeah. And this really became, this made me realize I already had a course, like a full course called Camera Confidence, which it's now a coaching program. But at the time, like this really solidified the idea of selling it first and that you don't have to have something totally. And if you're like listening to this and you're like, I'm never creating a course or a training or whatever, I'm telling you, people need information. They want value, whether like even with this LuLaRoe group, they're not selling courses, but we've had people who have launched like a closet clean out training that helps people to buy more clothes from them. Mm-hmm. So
that's the thing. A lot of people, I was reading somewhere today that USA, I don't know the specific numbers, but more and more people are doing side hustles to make ends meet, stuff like that. And that side hustle doesn't mean that you're selling a product or information, or it's providing some quality because we've all got stuff rolling in our heads. Like I had lunch today with a fellow podcaster who does an amazing job. He's a great speaker. It's like, well, why don't you, if you're trying to speak more, why don't you start talking about the things that you do and don't do that set you apart as a speaker?
Yeah.
It's valuable training. It doesn't have to be expensive. You don't have to sell a $20,000 coaching program if that's what you're against, but you can still provide your content that you're giving away is still valuable. And then that way you're not dealing with all the tire kickers who want to waste your time, or as I call them, prize pigs that show up for the free goodies, but never actually pull the trigger. You want to deal with people who pull the trigger, right? Yeah.
And so this also ties in with this idea. I don't know if I've talked about this before, but we have this thing called the tree of beliefs. Have I ever told you about that? It's so good. So it's kind of, it's like, have you heard of the ladder of influence? Yeah, so it's the same kind of thing. I used to call it a ladder of beliefs, but then we have another thing we call a ladder post, and it was getting confusing because I was using the word ladder twice. And so everybody in our glam program was like, Molly, we can't keep it straight. So I realized it's really more of a tree of beliefs. So what it is in order for someone to say yes to you, they have to believe a certain amount of things. They have to believe certain things about you, about themselves, about the thing that you're trying to get them to say yes to, and then also like understanding why now, like why it's important to do it at this moment. And if you can create content that allows them to crawl up the tree of beliefs, so by the time you make the offer, they already agree, all of the objections have been crushed, right? Through your content, it makes the actual closing of the note so much easier.
Mm, because you've built that yeses along the way. You've built the confidence and the knowledge along the way.
Yeah. It's all like micro commitments, right? So by the time it's there, they don't have any more objections because your content has squished them.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Now let's taking it back a little bit, trying to bring it back away from bots and stuff like that. With people looking to do things, and I think you and I both agree that video is one of the most effective ways to market out there, right?
Amen. Yes.
Amen. Preach on, right? But and being prepared, or people coming up with what are some tips to helping people maybe flush out some of the things that they need to share, or ideas for the new year to help them market themselves?
Yeah. So do you mean like to come up with the actual content, or to like?
Yes, to overcome, like, I can't think of anything, because that's always the biggest thing. People like, Scott, you've done hundreds and hundreds of episodes. How do you keep coming up with content? I'm like, I just pull stuff out of my ass. No, that's not an exciting thing.
Yeah.
But I just make a list of things, and we just kind of go through that list, and one idea is a topic, right?
Okay, so there's like, and this really, like, the tree of beliefs is an awesome way to start, because as you see, like, somebody needs to believe that social media is actually a great way to collect or connect with people and bring leads into your business. If they don't believe that, then they're never going to want to do anything about Facebook Live or about messenger bots, right? So if I was to do something speaking to that, I would help them move further up the tree of beliefs. So getting that tree of beliefs in place is really important. And one of the things that people, like, I think is like a majorly missed opportunity is non-product based solutions. So we had a client who literally did a training she did a 5-day challenge on how to drink more water. And it brought in 300 leads, which was crazy, because she knew that her ideal client was a mom who was looking to be more healthy, but didn't want to have to do lots of working out. She sold makeup, and it ended up being that was like actually a transition into the makeup, because it like hydrates your skin and whatever. But really, you're listening to humans and solving their problems. So just anytime you hear someone ask a question, or, share an issue that they're going through, to have a notebook that you keep there and write those problems down. Another really big one is that objection crusher idea. So do you ever do that, or keep a list of like objections people have to working with you?
Yeah, because those are usually the first things that I'll discuss. It's like the elephant in the room. Right?
Yeah, you might as well just like, so for me, people will say, oh, video works for you because you were a professional performer and you're just naturally confident. I'm sure you get that too, because your personality is so like, awesome and out there. So one of the big things is like to make sure people understand that it's a learned skill set. Mm-hmm. And that it's not about being more like me. It's about being more like you. So creating content that speaks to that it's going to help them to have more confidence, and it's going to help them to be closer to saying yes to whatever it is that I want them to say yes to. So.
Well, and I think the big thing too is that you have to realize you're not going to please everybody, and you can't target everybody. And some people get so worried. I mean, I've had friends that do a video and they get great responses, but they'll have one or two ugly comments that just shoot them. They just knock it down. I'm like, why are you focusing on the one or two negative comments, or these people that have nothing good to say? They're not going to do anything anyway.
Yeah.
Versus the 198 other people out here who are all giving the thumbs up and excited. We have a warped sense of focus a little bit.
Totally. And that's something that is like, I really had to tackle in the world as a professional performer, like going to audition after audition and literally standing there for the sole purpose of people judging you. It's like, what? But I will say that forcing myself to do a show, like an actual official show, at least once a week. There's been times when I've done 2 or 3 a week, which I'm not like quite to your standard of crazy, but still like, I think showing up and doing a Facebook Live show, and like this, there's a couple of methods that I've developed in order to help the people I was coaching to have the confidence to go into an audition. Even people who are crazy successful still need that like mental shift, and reiterating that for myself every single week has actually made me better in sales conversations, made me better, networking or whatever too. So,
well, it's the thing. I think so many people worry about perfection.
Oh,
your comment is not the perfect performer, the prepared performer.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's about living prepared. So secret is that pre-recorded videos stress me out. Like live videos, anything can mess up, and it's okay because everybody knows that it's live. When you do a pre-recorded video and you mess up, there's this like expectation to stop it and do it over again. So I actually recorded a video right before we started this. I'm speaking at Social Media Marketing World in March, which so excited about that.
Congrats.
And they asked us for videos this year, which last year they didn't do that. So I was stoked that they're having all the speakers do a video. And I was almost done with the video and I tripped up on a word, and I was like, in a split second, I thought I could stop this and do the whole thing over, or I could incorporate it into what I'm actually teaching. So I said, like, you know, because I was like, the confidence to create, to be able to keep going, even if you make little mistakes like that, you know?
Nice.
And recognizing that those little moments are actually authenticity indicators. So it helps people to know you're human.
Yeah, we're all not perfect. And I agree. I get more comments from people that are like, you're just a normal guy. I'm like, yeah, I'm just a normal guy. I'm not, you know, not all fancy and smancy, and I screw up, I cuss, and I trip over my own words when I'm doing this or talking to asset managers, or we're all human. Everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time for the most part. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. People get so worried about everything. I'm like, just delivered will always beat perfection anytime.
Yeah. Yes. 1,000,000%. And so we actually have this method that I developed when I was before I was even coaching, when I was in New York. I came up with this weird thing. It's called the Quesadilla of Awesome. Have I told you about it?
No, you have not. I like quesadillas. The Quesadilla of Awesome. Okay.
So it's, and it started because I was at an audition once in New York when I was not a union member. So at the time when you weren't a member of the Actors Equity, which is the actors union, you had to sit outside of the audition room where the union members were, and you had to just wait there in case they had room to see you. And I went up to the woman at the desk, and I was like, oh, hey, I'm here for the audition. Like, is there a restroom you can point me to? And she said, are you an equity member? And I said, no, but I'm here for the audition. I was like all dressed up. I'd been sitting there for hours. And she said, okay, so you can go downstairs and around the corner. There's a McDonald's in Times Square. I think they have a restroom there.
Wow.
It's like, what the F? And I turned around and I looked at like the 40 women that were sitting with me in this long hallway. It's like, this is stupid. And I realized I was spending so much time trying to prove to everyone else that I was what they wanted me to be, rather than just owning who I was. So I actually left the audition that day, which is one of the only times I've ever left an audition, because I was like, this is ridiculous. And I went through this mental shift where I decided I was going to really figure out what it was that made me me, so that I was worthy to use the restroom in the building, but really to be able to have the confidence to know that, like, this is not about begging for someone to like me. This is about showing up and knowing who I am. So we put together this list, this acronym of 20 things that make you a uniquely awesome human being. And so it's an amazing exercise to do before you walk into a meeting, before PTA, like the first day of kindergarten with your kids, you're going to meet all the other parents. And it's awesome. So I can share the acronym. Do you want it?
Yes, we do. Okay.
It's 5 letters. It's the word save. You may think the word save has 4 letters, but I can't spell. So I spell wrong on purpose right away so that I don't feel bad about it, because otherwise I get embarrassed. Just deal with my spelling. It's okay. So it's SAAVE, and it's your skill sets. So the things that you're just naturally gifted at, your appearance. And if you don't find things about your appearance that you can celebrate and love, when you're doing videos, your gremlins are going to creep in. It's not about what other people think about you. It's about what you think about you, because your energy will change. So your appearance, your activities that you love. So knitting, crocheting, hiking, fishing with 12 fishing rods at once. I don't know. Fishing. Okay, so your activities that you love. And that will give you things to talk to other humans about without being a salesy weirdo. It'll give you stories to drop that will make you memorable, right? The V is for your values. So for us, it's standing for joy as a fierce form of activism. We have the hashtag Stand for Joy is like our mission, is to help people to see that there can be joy even in crazy, difficult times. Kindness, and then also a little bit of hustle. We celebrate a little bit of hustle so that we actually live a life instead of working 1,000,000 hours a day. And then the final thing is things you like to eat. because all humans eat. And if you can find polarizing food, so like you were saying, you don't want everyone to like you. So I have this trick with Brussels sprouts. Have I told you about this? Okay. So this is going to blow your mind. So what you do is you go to your personal Facebook page and you're going to write, it's 5 words, I think. I used to say 4, but it's actually 5. Brussels sprouts, yes or no. And that's all you're going to write on your personal page. And I am telling you, your engagement is going to get the most massive kick in the pants because people either love or hate Brussels sprouts. And I talk about them so often that I even get gifts like this in the mail.
Every day I'm Brussels.
So I've had 4 people send me a dish towel that says every day I'm Brussels. And then this, actually, my assistant bought me on Etsy, which is so cute. Every day I'm Brussels. So this Brussels sprouts thing is proven to be like, it's such a tangible example of when we talk about things as a human and they're polarizing, but it's actually things that you like or care about. You're not faking the authenticity. I mean, I guess that's an oxymoron, right? Faking authenticity, but that's what a lot of people do. It feels like.
Yeah. You do
yeah. So that whole thing becomes your quesadilla of awesome because everybody has something that makes them uniquely awesome, even if it's just that you make an amazing quesadilla. So
I love that.
Yeah. And you like bring it into your own self and body. Like, can you do this with your hands? Like take your fingers like this. And you want to feel that quesadilla of awesome, like right in your chest before you start speaking on stage, before you go on camera. And it's like it's not about trying to be more like somebody else. It's really about trying to be more like you.
Being proud to be you.
Yeah.
Only you versus trying to be somebody else. I think Tony Robbins, I've seen him do a lot of different things before he goes on stage, jumping on the trampoline, getting his energy up, getting excited about things, and then rolling out there. And that's it's the same thing. It's just a little bit different type of mechanism.
Yeah.
I love it. Save, SAAVE.
Yes.
That's good stuff. I like that. And the question is, do you like Brussels sprouts or don't you like Brussels sprouts?
Oh my gosh, obsessed with Brussels sprouts.
They're good.
Yeah.
We make a little thing with the honey, and I usually make it around the holidays. So we don't get the bagged ones. I get them on the freaking vine still.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Like you can like
make a
stick. Yeah.
Roast them in with some tomatoes, a little okra, some fresh bacon if you like bacon with them.
Yeah,
and then add honey at the very end after you put balsamic vinaigrette over it too.
I dig it. So we actually made some Brussels sprouts this Thanksgiving. I made them twice over Thanksgiving week because they were so good. So you just straight half them, and then you put them on like a cookie sheet with olive oil, which I don't usually roast them like that. So that was kind of cool. And then you mix in some grapes. So it's just Brussels sprouts, olive oil, grapes, and I think maybe I added walnuts, maybe. I did the walnuts at the end because I added that afterwards. But you put it in the oven for 30 to 35 minutes. And then we used a pear balsamic vinegar at the end, which was so good. And like some salt and pepper with the grapes. And then I think I also added feta cheese at the very end.
There you go.
So good. Yeah.
I'm hungry now.
I know.
But the whole key going back to this point is you asking those questions to start getting engaged, start getting people to take notes. Like I started doing that a while back. Hey, what's your favorite movie? What's your favorite this? What do you look at that and be like, why the heck are you asking all this? I'm like, because I'm getting 100 to 150 people to engage immediately in the first hour.
And then people are like, okay, so what do you do after that? You talk to humans.
Mm-hmm.
Like magic, imagine that, right? Talk to actual human beings. So pretty cool.
I mean, I have to pick up the phone or talk to them. And that's the thing is the old way of like one-on-one conversations can still get stuff done, but it just takes forever versus doing this mass and using a couple cool tools to engage those engagements and get those the many to one conversations rock and roll, right?
Yeah. And then it directs back to a human at the other side at some point. And the cool thing is, like with a Facebook Live video, it's starting as a one-on-one conversation. It's just you're here on this side, they happen to be there on the other side, and there happens to be lots of other sides. Mm-hmm. So it's like, and sometimes people will be bummed, like, oh, I only had 5 people on my video. When was the last time you just randomly turned your phone on and had 5 people show up inside your room? It doesn't happen.
And one is always greater than none. And we're all one person away from something amazing happening.
Totally.
You know, and I would rather have that one interested person versus 1,000 people that aren't interested.
Yeah.
You know,
who are interested in just watching your free stuff and never going to move to the next step.
Exactly. They're just going to drain you of content, drain you of your mind. Those prize pigs are going to show up for that free poster, that free T-shirt.
So funny.
I had a friend. I had somebody on here. We talked about the prize pigs, so she went out and bought me like the Fisher Price like sound machine.
Okay, yes, so good.
I got it around here somewhere. It's buried here, but
like a speak and say or whatever. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it was. Exactly.
I have a friend who plays accordion, and they had one in their band. There was like a moment of the song where they would pull it, and then it would play in the middle of their song. It was really funny.
It's funny, but it's hilarious. So the question I want to ask you: so you, where's home? You're on the West Coast now, right?
Yes.
Not East Coast, right?
California, yeah.
Okay. What you know, with acting and being a performer in theater and stuff like that, what was your highlight of doing that? You have a big highlight or two?
So many. The first thing that comes to mind is the national tour of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, because Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was, first of all, just like a major moment of part of my life, obviously, right? But so and the Sherman brothers who wrote Chitty Chitty Bang Bang wrote everything in our childhood. Like, It's a Small World, Mary Poppins, they literally wrote everything. So Richard Sherman came out on the tour with us, which was like, to be able to spend an evening with Richard Sherman, like he came out a couple times, just crazy. It was just so awesome. Like, as crazy as it was at times also, the flying car was actually super magical. So to be on stage in this magical world every night, I was on tour for 9 months.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just awesome. I also met my husband doing a show, that should have been like my first highlight, I suppose. But
he's not listening, so we're good on that one.
He came on tour with us as the person in charge of the kids backstage too. He's actually a professional bass player, but I convinced him to get in as what they call the child wrangler. So he was in charge of all the kids on tour.
Very nice. Very nice out there as well. That's good stuff. So the question I like to ask here is, we've talked about some great things about saving the belief, the tree of beliefs, increasing that there, focusing on being you, focusing stuff on a regular basis. You are a big advocate and a brand ambassador for B.Live, which is it's a phenomenal tool. I used to use it, stuff like that. Still like using it occasionally when I have the opportunity to. But let's talk about that a little bit, because it really makes it easy for people not only just to go live instead of hitting Facebook Live, but using that and some of the cool tools they have.
Yeah, it is. Okay, first of all, it is so easy. So that is there's ways that you can do some of the things that B.Live does with something like OBS, but it is so confusing and takes such a long time. So it's so easy. And what you can do is, first of all, even if you're not going live, you can actually use it as a tool to record your videos or record your audio. And you can add lower thirds on the bottom. So that's like the text makes it looks like a real news show.
Like a news show going, either being where it just shows up stagnant and you have it go away, or you can have it roll across and repeat going back and forth.
Yeah, like a ticker tape at the bottom of your thing. You can add a frame. You can add a logo. You can actually even change out your frames while you're live, which is really cool. So it's basically like what you would do in editing, like editing a video, but you can do it all while you're live. You can bring in if you're doing a video, like on YouTube, a lot of people will do videos where it's like, do you experience this problem? Today I'm going to solve it. And then it goes to the little show credits and stuff. You can do that while you're live on the actual show.
That's new.
There's so many new cool things. You can bring in GIFs. There's even a thing, oh my gosh. So if you have 5 houses that you want to show, there's a new live selling option. You can load all the pictures of the houses ahead of time, bring it in, and it has the different, whatever information you share, like price, whatever, can be in the bottom of the video. And it's in a little staggered cool way in the bottom of the photo, and you can scroll through the photos while you're live showing the different houses or products or whatever it is that you want to show.
And they can also, can you also bring on a PowerPoint presentation and have that come up there? Because we've talked to a lot of people about doing lunch and learns. They don't have to be 2 hours long, maybe 30 minutes. Talk about events that they're trying to fund or close on, and have a short PowerPoint presentation that pulls up. That's still
so you can just pull the PowerPoint presentation right up in, because you can screen share. So, and you can also bring up to 4 guests. So you can have 4 people there. It's so cool. You can do audio only guests as well. So if you have someone who doesn't necessarily want to come on the camera, that they'd like to speak and have just a photo over them, you can do that. And then with the whole Map to Millions, Be Live is really integral in that, because you can pre-schedule the video on Facebook, meaning not that you like would load the video ahead of time. You're still going to be live, but you can create a link and a placeholder on Facebook so that you can actually promote it ahead of time. So for that APR method, you get a link when you use Be Live to pre-schedule it, and then you can, bring anybody else in. And so Zoom is awesome, and I use Zoom's Facebook Live option for one of our Glam coaching calls. Glam is our program you mentioned earlier, Go Live and Monetize.
Yep.
But the problem is when you're using it for like a marketing video or a more public-facing video where you're not going to have a bunch of people on, you can't see the comments and questions that come in when you're using Zoom. Mm-hmm. And with Be Live, you can actually bring them up into the screen. So it's a way to celebrate your viewers as well, which is pretty cool.
And that's the big thing. It adds instantaneous ego bait.
Oh.
So many comments that they can see that, oh, my questions can go live. I'm going to be live on the Prepared Performer or the Note Closer Show. They got to comment a lot more on that stuff there. Yeah. So it's a beautiful thing. And getting them to comment and back and forth. And
yeah.
So you
I don't know if you know, you can go live on YouTube now also with it. So
oh, wow.
Yeah, it just happened. Like we had it in beta, and just this week we got YouTube approved us to have more, because we were worried if everybody had it, it would like shut it down. But now we had approval to go live on more places, which is really dope. So pretty cool.
So you're going live on YouTube, and is LinkedIn probably in the process?
In the future, it's in the process. Yeah,
LinkedIn's a little difficult to deal with.
It just seems like it's so hard, even as a human, to get permission to do it there. I don't interact on LinkedIn as much as I should, so I wouldn't give myself access either. They're like, you have all these repurposed posts coming here. You're not actually showing up. I'm not going to give you anything. That's what LinkedIn
Well, but that's the great thing. Record there, and then you can still share the video over as a link from your YouTube channel or your Facebook Live or sharing. That's the thing. You can pre-schedule out 7 days on Be Live. Is that correct, or is it longer now?
That's Facebook in general, so it's not just Be Live. On Facebook Live, you can pre-schedule 7 days ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
That is really cool, because it gives people an opportunity to go there. They click on it, they subscribe to it, they can be in your Facebook Live. You could probably, I'm sure you probably use the mini chats in there to help drive people's engagement to connect from your live videos.
Yeah. And the cool thing is if you have for every single live video, we do show notes after the video. So every video, there's a new keyword, they comment below it. So we get people commenting below the video before it even starts. So the organic reach goes up, because the social proof, the feeding of Facebook, all of that happens before the video starts. Dope.
Very dope. So let's share. You've started a whole thing. Let's go back, because I know people that have been listening to this are like, okay, this started off talking about some pants. What's the pant thing we're talking about?
Okay, so I spoke at the ManyChat conference. ManyChat is that bot tool, right? And this ManyChat conference, it was like, for me, it was, and I had already spoken at Social Media Marketing World, which was a huge honor and like a big, huge deal. But the ManyChat conference is something that I had been like really working on making happen. And it was a huge community, big, huge deal. So I was like, I need something amazing to wear when I speak at the ManyChat conference. And I searched literally everywhere, and nothing was working. And I was like feeling kind of down about it. I was looking at Alice and Olivier, and they had all these cool things, and they were all like a size 2. And I was like, doesn't anybody understand a real woman? Like, what's up with you? Right. So I walk past this store that has like nothing but sparkles in it. It's like a store of sparkles. And I was like, that's kind of crazy, but I'm just going to go see. I walk in and I find these pants, and they are literally bedazzled from top to bottom, like as it like with an actual bedazzler. It looks like they are like crystals and pearls, the whole entire, and like stretchy. So they're like leggings that are all crystals and pearls.
But they look pretty comfortable though.
Oh my God. They're the most comfortable thing in the whole entire world. They are, except my dad was honored at this big event at St. Patrick's Cathedral last weekend, and I had to kneel at church. I wore them to church. They are not the best for kneeling at a Catholic church, I will just tell you. Okay, so I try them on, and I'm like, these are the most amazing things I've ever worn in my life. They are so amazing. And I'm like standing in this dressing room. I look at the price tag, and they are $5 million bajillion. I'm like, there's no way And I stood there and I was like, you know what? I have actually worked my booty off.
Mm-hmm.
This is a huge deal. It's going to make an impact. I'm doing it. And I did it. I texted my friend Shamika and told her, but I was super embarrassed about it. And so as I stepped on that stage, I stepped on the stage. Literally, it was like the most amazing entrance to a speaking thing ever. Like, it was like so awesome. The content was great, whatever. After I stepped off the stage, I was attacked by women who wanted to touch my pants. And they all asked me where I got them. And I was so embarrassed about what I had spent that I didn't tell them.
Mm.
And I realized, like, first, that is like stupid. And it was a couple weeks. So that was like not a couple weeks, a couple days later when I saw you, because it was that day, because I wore those pants, because I went straight from that day to the airport.
Yep.
And at the next conference, someone was talking about like money mindset and how, the things that we do, even when we hit success, it's like that money mindset piece is so big. And I responded to her because I was on stage on the mic, and I grabbed the mic and I said, I bought $1,000 pair of pants. And it was one of the most nerve-wracking moments of my life. To admit it, I told a very quick version of the story. And so many people at that conference, like, I don't know, what did you think when I said that?
I was like, they're worth it. I mean, it's a marketing piece.
And you were the only person who had actually seen them before, I think, at that conference, which is so funny. But yeah, I mean, so I like admitting it. I mean, I was so embarrassed even saying it, but I had so many people who came up to me afterwards and said they had a similar experience with like $100 shirt or, $1,000 suit or whatever. And I realized that like, this is something that maybe we need to be talking about and like celebrating our success and also not devaluing our own worth, So
I agree. Good stuff. I love it. Love it.
I'm launching the Panticipation podcast.
Panticipation podcast. Exactly. That's why I wanted to bring it up. But we're getting ready to run out of time here before too long. Molly, what's the best way for people to reach out to you, or if they want to take advantage of anything you're offered up or get to know more about the Prepared Performer?
Yeah, so I'm actually, I've got all this crazy stuff that we mentioned today, the different case studies, and I'm going to put together that template for you. So I'm going to create a new page today, probably. If you go to thepreparedperformer.com, so the prepared performer, it's right there, .com/Scott. I'm going to put all the case studies I talked about today. I'm also going to give you a video content planner. So it's the content stuff we talked about is great, but then it's also either a spreadsheet or a printable PDF. There's 2 different ways for 2 different types of vines. And I'll have that in there too. And it's just going to be a lot of goodness.
Good stuff, man. Thanks so much, Molly.
Yeah, thanks so much. This was so fun. You're the best.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to have you on again. We got so much stuff to go into and go forward, and we're excited what the new year's going to hold, because I've learned some stuff. I'm sure our audience learned some stuff. And so, once again, thanks for coming here on the Note Closer Show and just delivering some great stuff. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Note Closer Show. Go out, take some action. Check out the website, preparedperformer.com/Scott. to be able to download all the templates and the list that Molly's providing from such a great episode here. So go out, take action, and we'll see you at the top, everybody. Bye.